Hey, what's going on, everybody? I want to do this video, and I'm basing this off of the interview that Mayor Keisha Lance Bottoms did in her emotional speech about what has been going on. You guys know I have been speaking out about this on social media a lot because I just feel like her compassion is geared towards the wrong people. Yes, I know this is not a one-day fix. And I don't know what her plan is or whoever's plan it is here in Atlanta to start addressing and to start fixing things. But to me, I just feel like her compassion and her anger was geared towards the wrong people. So I'm gonna play the video and I'm gonna show some clips because the very next day after she had this emotional speech, the Atlanta cops are harassing black kids. And so let's just go ahead and go through it.
What's happening here today? Above everything else, I am a mother. I am a mother to 4 black children in America, one of whom is 18 years old. And when I saw the murder of George Floyd, I hurt like a mother would hurt. And on yesterday, when I heard there were rumors about violent protests in Atlanta, I did what a mother would do. I called my son and I said, "Where are you?" I said, "I cannot protect you and black boys shouldn't be out today."
Okay, so we can pause it right here. So this is one of the first things that really bothered me was that she never talked about the fact that the protest was not violent. And multiple people, and even the cops would tell you that the protest was very peaceful. I think after everybody went home and they started rioting, then things got violent. So she never really talked about how proud she was that they had a peaceful protest or anything like that. She just talked about all the bad stuff that happened after the protest was over.
But largely, despite the signs, despite the chants, it is very peaceful at the moment, which is a good sign. This is what Mayor Bottoms wanted. She said, protest, but protest with a purpose. And as at least right here, where we are at this very moment, that's what you're experiencing.
So you're not going to out-concern me and out-care about where we are in America. I wear this each and every day, and I pray over my children each and every day. So what I see happening on the streets of Atlanta is not Atlanta.
Real quick, part of the tactic of the police department to be able to maintain control is to control their own emotions. They have to control their own emotions. If they get emotionally sucked into whatever the crowd is saying to them, now they are out of control and they become even more vulnerable. So what they have to do is maintain emotional control, and we can see it there.
In which, well, they did the very next day. So
this is not a protest. This is not in the spirit of Martin Luther King Jr. This is chaos. A protest has purpose. When Dr. King was assassinated, we didn't do this to our city.
now, this is the other thing that really just keeps bothering me is we keep using Dr. Martin Luther King as a scapegoat for protesting and rioting and all this other stuff. I mean, even Dr. Martin Luther King said that he understood rioting and protesting, and that it was the voice of the people, the unheard people, which clearly we are unheard.
I think we've got to see that a riot is the language of the unheard. And what is it that America has failed to hear? It has failed to hear that the economic plight of the Negro poor has worsened over the last few years.
I mean, I don't understand what has to happen for these people to understand that we just want to be heard. We don't want to be harassed. We don't want to be beat down by the cops. We don't want to get arrested for things for no reason. And when you watch the video, you will see that it's not for everybody in Atlanta. It is for black people. I mean, if you clearly watch the video of the kids that got arrested the night after she gave this speech, there was a white girl. She was happy. Hey, how you doing to the news and everything? She had no cares in the world. But those kids that were behind her didn't. And I mean, there's no way for them to protect themselves. So again, the concern should not be that we need to be in the house. It's not a crime to be outside. The concern should be the police department and how toxic that it is and how dangerous that they are. They are like a street gang, basically, and you cannot control them. They're basically like the mob to me.
So if you love this city that has had a legacy of black mayors and black police chiefs and people who care about this city, where more than 50% of the business owners in Metro Atlanta are minority business owners. If you care about this city, then go home.
Now, then she talked about the black businesses and everything, and I understood that, about the percentage of the black businesses that are here and all that, and I'm not sure what the percentage of the black businesses that were affected by it. And someone can comment underneath the video and let me know exactly what black businesses were even affected by this. But I'm not really sure what black businesses she's talking about that were affected by the people that were protesting. And even when they started rioting, I did not see on social media any black businesses that were affected by the rioting that was going on in the city. So I'm not really sure the direction of what she's talking about at this point.
And pray that somebody like Reverend Beasley will come and talk to you and give you some instructions on what a protest should look like and how you effectuate change in America.
And then she asked us to go home and hope that Beasley calls us and talks to us. But why do we have to pray for Beasley to talk to us? Shouldn't he be talking? This part really did not make sense to me. It's like, we've been talked to, we've been peacefully protesting, we have been doing everything that everyone has been asking us to do, and nothing has changed. And again, if we want to keep referring back to Dr. Martin Luther King, he said that he understood that writing was the voice of the unheard people. And again, people feel like they're unheard.
This police chief made a video on yesterday, pull it up on YouTube, where she said she was appalled to watch the murder of George Floyd. This woman did that.
And then she talked about the police chief making a video being appalled by the murder of George Floyd. But is the police chief appalled about the havoc that the cops here cause?
Guys, come to me right now. 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 Come to me. Come to me right now. This woman just got tased. Come to me right now. Come to me right now.
Is she appalled by these two kids that they busted out the car window, slashed the tires, tased? I mean, the cop poured water on the little boy and then tased him. Now, if you guys understand what that does, I mean, it adds a lot more to somebody. If you're wet and you get shocked, it's going to add a little more sting to you being tased. Is she shocked and is she appalled about that?
You're not protesting anything running out with brown liquor in your hands, breaking windows in this city. T.I. and Killer Mike own half the West Side. So when you burn down this city, you're burning down our community.
So then she starts talking about T.I. and Killer Mike. And, I posted on social media and a lot of people had a lot of response to basically that T.I. and Killer Mike does not own anything that was torn down or broken into. So again, I don't understand what this part had to do with anything. And if anything, if they're so for Atlanta, why are they not out here with the people that are peacefully protesting? Like Portia Williams was out there. So, I mean, it couldn't have been that bad if she was out there. But why are they not out here with the people protesting? I mean, does it have to be Donald Trump for them to get out there? I was confused at this part.
If you want change in America, go and register to vote. Show up at the polls on June 9th. Do it in November.
So then she said to, register to vote, which I'm sure everybody's not registered to vote, so let me not say that. But I'm sure that the people that are registered to vote, we're going to vote on June the 9th, but we're talking about today. And the things that are happening in this moment. And yes, that's a whole process. So of course, yes, you need to vote. Please, if you're not registered to vote, go register to vote so that you can vote. But again, this message was directed for what's going on right now in this time, not what's going to happen as time goes on after we vote on June the 9th and after we vote in November. We're talking about now.
You are disgracing the life of George Floyd and every other person who has been killed in this country.
Basically, it's a disgrace that people are protesting. And I'm saying protesting because that's what she said. She didn't say the riot. She said the protesting. And again, the protesting was very peaceful.
But largely, despite the signs, despite the chants, it is very peaceful at the moment, which is a good sign. This is what Mayor Bottoms wanted.
So she's taking the fact that people went out and protested, and maybe she's mixing up her word. Well, I'm not gonna say maybe, she's mixing up her words at this point. And so she's mixing up her words when it comes to protesting and rioting, when she should have encouraged the peaceful protesting and not the rioting and the looting that was going on. But at the end of the day, that's our right. So
in the same way I couldn't protect my son on yesterday, I cannot protect you out in those streets.
Now, this is the part that this next part was the most honest thing that she said out of the whole thing. And really, it's the saddest part of the whole video is because she can't help us. And so this speech made everything that she said before she said this just made the speech just null and void to me, because if you can't help us, you can't protect us, then how do you have this? How's the solution to go home? If you're telling us that you can't protect us, but the solution is to go home, how does that make sense? I'm missing the connection as to how staying at home is the solution to the cops harassing people. Because maybe the cops should stay home. I don't know. Now, she's talking about them throwing knives and defacing the city. The very next day, well, actually, yeah, when they that same day, I mean, the police wreaked havoc over these people. So I just don't get it. And then she talked about the CNN building, but CNN put up a statement where they repainted the CNN sign and they were okay. So the outrage that she has for CNN, shouldn't she have that for the citizens of Atlanta?
This is not the legacy of civil rights in America. This is chaos and we're buying into it. This won't change anything. We're no longer talking about the murder of an innocent man.
Now, she said this is not the legacy of civil rights, but all through the civil rights movement, they were protesting and rioting and looting the whole entire time. And that's why the change happened, because the people were fed up. It was the voice of the people who felt like they were unheard, to quote Dr. Martin Luther King again. So I don't understand how this is not the legacy of civil rights when this happened during the civil rights movement.
This won't change anything. We're no longer talking about the murder of an innocent man. We're talking about how you're burning police cars on the streets of Atlanta, Georgia. Go home.
But we're not talking about that. She's talking about that. What we're talking about is that we're still fed up after this speech. with the cops. And then again, the very next day, the cops did exactly what this whole speech that she gave. So at the end of this, at the end of this, my message is this: we need for the mayor to understand that as Black people who live here in Atlanta, even if we have a business or we don't, because her concerns seem more about the Black businesses, not the people, the citizens who shop at these businesses. Her concern was more about the people who have it, and the people who are here. We need to go home. And again, being outside is not a crime. We should not have to stay at home because the cops can't control themselves and they have anger issues. And my message to cops is, if you are afraid of Black people or any kind of people, get a new job, because that's not a job for you. And this, I really don't want to see rioting and looting, but I mean, this is the first time that I've actually seen them, like, we've had their attention. So, I mean, we tried the peaceful protesting. They still were shooting the rubber bullets and macing people before this time. And so it's like, people keep saying that protesting is not the answer. My question is, instead of saying, this is not it, what is the solution? What do you plan on doing? And for the mayor, what does she plan on doing about the police officers? The police officers that harassed those kids and busted the windows, slashed those tires, tased that boy, dragged that little girl out of the car. And you can tell, oh, and this is the other thing. She put out, the very next day, she put out we had our curfew at 9 o'clock. A lot of us never either got the message, or we got it late. And I heard that it was on TV, which a lot of us have turned the TV off. We're tired of seeing all of this. And a lot of people were out at downtown protesting peacefully. They were downtown protesting, and they kept saying that the cops were saying that.
However, have you heard anyone amongst the police department give any warning, saying that the curfew is about to take place in 30 minutes to disperse? Have you heard any of that?
That's actually a great question. We arrived literally about 15 minutes ago, and just setting up the camera, so we've only been around this crowd for just a few minutes. We have not heard any warnings saying that the curfew is about to end. We have not heard, or the curfew is about to begin, rather, in about 30 minutes. So we have not heard any warning saying, hey, disperse, you only have 30 minutes and the curfew started. The mayor said that she does not want to arrest anyone. She says that if you're out and you're past 9 o'clock and you're grabbing a bag of chips at the store, she doesn't want to arrest you. You're going to get a warning. We'll see if that happens here. We'll see if there's a warning, and we'll see exactly what happens when 9 o'clock hits.
But who's listening to the cops at this point right now if we don't even trust them? So she should have been more proactive when it came to her alert. And if she wanted to put the curfew out, she should have put it out. She should have made sure that the alerts got out on time. I mean, I don't really know what she wanted, but what I do know is, one, it's not a crime for people to be outside. Two, you had a curfew and you knew that people were getting it late. Even some of the news personalities showed that they got it at like 9:12. You had to give people time to at least get home, and they didn't do that. And so at the end of the day, I just feel like we need a solution, and the solution is not stay home. The solution is you need to control your dogs, because that is the issue. The issue is not that people are outside. We are allowed to be outside. It's not a crime. That's all I got.